So the AI SEO secrets, first, answer engine optimization. Number one, you're going to answer questions. You're going to answer questions on YouTube, on your FAQ pages, on your website, on your blog. Number two, build authority. Get listed in those industry articles out there. And number three, on your website, we shared a number of advanced strategies, things like schema code, and then getting out there in the Reddits and the Quoras. Well, welcome everyone to this month's webinar series, a live event today. We always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you listening sometime in the future on the recording, because everybody always says good morning on their podcasts. And a lot of times I'm listening in the afternoon and the evening. Welcome to Decode Law Firm AI. Discover new artificial intelligence tools for law firms, operations, and marketing. And today we're really going to break down the 4 key components for law firm AI, and we'll give you some fun tools to play with too. But first and foremost, it's traffic. How are we going to get more traffic using the latest and greatest in AI SEO? Number 2 is intake and conversion. There's some amazing AI that will actually answer the phone for you. And we've developed a proprietary AI 10 golden rules that coaches your intake team when it gets over to your intake professionals and increases conversion. We're going to talk about law firm case management. So the actual hottest new softwares and companies that can help run your cases with AI. And we're going to talk about 5-star operations. What we mean by that is how do you get more Google reviews and more referrals? And how do you improve your customer service using some of these amazing, incredible new AI products? So we're going to go into the AI SEO. How do you get ranked in these AI listings, the Google AI overviews and ChatGPT? We're going to give you the best updated algorithms we've figured out to get in those listings. We're going to show you our new AI intake product where we actually have a robot doing your intake monitoring and intake coaching, working with your intake team. We're going to look at the technologies that do the medical chronologies, demand letters, and litigation support, and those AI case status communications. So if I could, do you mind everybody participate a little bit, whether you're on the live event or whether you're in the, we're live on LinkedIn Live as well. Do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat if you consider yourself an artificial intelligence expert. Are you kind of a guru and you're writing your own code and you're just here for those most advanced tips? Or if you're just learning, you're doing some ChatGPT prompts, maybe your firm is using an AI like Eve or Supio or Faster Outcomes, and you're getting the hang of this AI stuff, and you're somewhere in the middle, give me a number 2 in the chat. And if you're a little bit confused, if you're just a newbie and you're like, I haven't even really figured out ChatGPT yet, just let me know so I have a feel what the audience looks like here today, and we can take a look at that. Okay. All right. I got some mostly 2s so far. Okay, good stuff. I also like to say congratulations. And if you've been on these sessions before, you're one of the folks who's differentiated the people who come to webinars, who read books, who watch videos, who come to conferences. I see those firms are 2 or 3x the firms who don't do these things, because we get referrals all the time. And I meet folks that have never heard of me. They've never been to a conference. They've never seen an SEO presentation. And I'm always amazed because a lot of the people I meet, obviously I meet at conferences. I'm always amazed that some people are successful attorneys and most of their business is coming from referrals because they just aren't out there learning these kinds of things. Congratulations to you for being here, whether you're here live or whether you're watching on YouTube or one of our channels sometime in the future. You're one of the people who's 2 or 3x the folks who don't put in the time to learn this stuff and get better. My name is Jay Berkowitz, and today we're going to decode Law Firm AI. We're going to talk about the top new AI tools and companies and strategies that you can use in your law firm and your business. By the way, if you're not a law firm, a lot of this stuff we use at 10 Golden Rules, our internet marketing company, I'm going to share some advanced prompts you can use in ChatGPT and the other LLMs or large language models. We're going to talk about the best strategies for marketing and operations, how to get started. So if you're just a newbie, we're going to give you some tips in that area. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, if that's okay. And at 10 Golden Rules, we always tell the joke of the week. Bear with me. And we've got our bad dad lawyer joke for you, of course. So why do lawyers love AI? Because it's the only associate that will work all night and still be pleasant in the morning. All right, they're dad jokes. Anyways, a little bit about me. I'm Jay Berkowitz, and I come from Winnipeg, Canada. And it's beautiful this time of year if you like skating outside. This is City Park, and the duck pond actually freezes over, and they turn it into a skating rink. But I got really lucky, and 23 years ago, my beautiful bride Bonnie and I moved to Boca Raton, Florida, and that's Bonnie and Parker. And this is what our lifestyle looks like now. I miss the outdoor skating, but I love playing tennis instead of outdoor activities in the winter. I started my career and I was very lucky. I worked on big brands like Coca-Cola, and it was fascinating. It was a brand that had been marketed for over 100 years, trying to figure out new strategies. And I got into technology very early with Sprint, and our job was to get people their first emails and get companies their first websites. I also worked for the client side as director of marketing and for the agency for McDonald's Restaurants of Canada. And I sold some of the most delicious food in the world, Big Macs and French fries and chicken McNuggets. But I went from selling high-fat Big Macs to ediets.com, an online diet company. And those folks were kind enough to sponsor me into this great country 23 years ago. And we grew eDiets from a startup to over $60 million in revenue. And I had this amazing experience where we were bringing 100,000 people a day to the website and testing different offers and strategies and funnels. And I learned all about internet marketing, in a very deep hands-on way back in 2002 and 2003. And most people were just discovering Google at that time. And we were already running a $60 million online direct marketing program. So I used my expertise and wrote the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing. I spoke at the Direct Marketing Association, and a bunch of people came running up to me and said, Jay, can we hire you as a consultant? These two books became Amazon bestsellers, and this is our new book, all about internet marketing for law firms. Our company is called 10 Golden Rules, and we do internet marketing for law firms. And we work with some great clients all around the country and even in Canada, these folks. We recently made the Inc. 5000 list, so that was very exciting for our company, being one of America's fastest growing private companies. Our YouTube channel has over 1 million YouTube views. So that's why some of you are watching this on YouTube. Thankfully, the algorithm likes us and it suggests our videos. And this is a great recent video. If you're a law firm and you want to grow your business, this is a great conversation I had with Jeff McDonald on how we scaled to over 200 cases a month. And I say we because I'm so proud of their success. But Jeff shared a lot of great strategies for running the law firm. And we talked about the marketing strategies that got them to the next level. And all of those videos are available on our YouTube channel. A couple more quick things. We also host an annual conference called TGR Live. And if you like this kind of content, you're going to love TGR Live. March 16th and 17th, we call it Growth Strategies for Law Firms. It's at this beautiful location right on Delray Beach, which is in between Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale and adjacent to our offices in Boca Raton. This is a beautiful hotel called the Opal Grand. It's right on the ocean. And March 16th and 17th is pretty much as good to a high quality guarantee of amazing weather. We've got some fantastic speakers. Steve Gersten's going to talk about 4 ways to get millions more in your case. He has a multi-million-dollar law firm, as does Rob Levine, who's going to talk about AI. Stacey Brown Randall has an amazing book called How to Get Referrals Without Even Asking. Chris Keller's got a great presentation on 5 disciplines to transform your life and your practice. And Cassidy Lewis is the CMO to the stars. And she's going to take it from the law firm perspective. And I will be talking about all the latest marketing strategies, as will my team from 10 Golden Rules. So I hope to see you in March in beautiful Delray Beach, Florida. There's information, of course, at our website at 10 Golden Rules. One last thing, if you want to get a download and want to share this information with your marketing team or your marketing agency, we're going to go through how to get listed on these AI overviews and all the hottest strategies for SEO and AI here today. So you can get this by scanning here. And I'm just going to tell you one more thing about TGR Live so I can leave this up on the screen, our live conference. One of the things unique about that conference is we do speed networking and we have the world championship rock, paper, scissors contest. And that's all before noon on the first day when we have power lunches. So we do tons of networking and interactivity. So you're going to meet everybody at the conference. If you're an attorney and you're looking for referral partners, if you're looking for to hire people, we've got vendors who are going to help you find great attorneys. If you're looking for any kind of help, we've got some amazing vendors and partners who will be coaching you at the power tables. We've got a welcome party. We've got a cocktail party. We're going to have the Legal All-Stars rock and roll band playing at the cocktail party. So I just wanted to leave this up on screen for a minute, but TGR Live, amazing interactive conference. So without further ado, let's decode Law Firm AI. I want you to discover some new tools and some great strategies for operations and marketing for your law firms. So we're going to start with AI SEO, the artificial intelligence SEO, because right at the top of Google now, if you search something like, how do I choose a car accident attorney? Google is showing this AI result. And basically that's a search result like a ChatGPT result. And there's a couple things going on here because obviously Google started losing some traffic to ChatGPT, and Google has to maintain their traffic because that's their lifeblood. Google is essentially an answer engine. You search something and Google gives you an answer. But the compiled answer in some instances is much better than the old 10 blue links on the Google page. So what Google started doing is using their amazing AI technology to answer questions the same way ChatGPT does. And they had to do this. I mean, frankly, this was a defensive maneuver. They've got to give away these great free answers to retrain us, those of us who started going to ChatGPT for these kinds of questions. And most people now who use Google have started to realize, geez, these Google answers are maybe just as good or maybe even better than the ChatGPT answers. So Google's protected their turf. However, they did lose a lot of turf to ChatGPT. These AI overviews, like for example, if there's a search for Virginia construction accident lawyer, it's called AI Overview, and Google compiles an answer to that, essentially a question, right? Every search query is essentially a question. And our client, Jeff McDonald, comes up in the second position here on this AI Overviews. Now, the cool thing about this area here is Google shows their homework. So essentially, when somebody does a search, Google reads the internet, they pick the top 10 or so websites that they feel best answers the search query, and they use those websites to compile the answer. And these are live links to the websites if you want to get more information. These little paper clips here are also live links to the websites that Google primarily used to compile this section of the answer. Now, obviously, this is going to be kind of a moving target, and this is how Google's showing these results today. But there's definitely an SEO opportunity where you can search engine optimize your website to come up in this portion of the answer. So in some instances, Google's going to give the answer. People are going to stick with that answer. That's going to answer their question, and their searching is done. But in some instances, they're actually going to want to go hire a lawyer. And so this is a great place to be. It's right at the top of Google, and you have to do the right things that we're going to talk about. How do you get listed in these links and these links on the website? Now, one of the first things is you need to be here as well. So essentially what I said is that Google's showing the top 10 websites. They're using the top 10 answers to the question, and they're compiling their own AI-derived answer with those top 10 websites. And in most cases, the 10 websites that are the top SEO results, Google always shows 10 results per page. Those 10 websites are going to be the ones that are over here in this answer. So first lesson here is SEO hasn't gone away. There's some rumors that like SEO doesn't matter as much, but I would argue it matters more than ever, because if you do very effective search engine optimization and your website is one of these 10 best answers to the question here, Google's going to then use your website to compile this answer and they're going to link directly to your website. So ostensibly, our client, Jeff McDonald, has 3 chances to get a click. One is here, one is whichever link they used here, and one is here because he's already on the SEO for the website. So SEO hasn't gone away. It's maybe changed a little bit, and these links are ranking to your website. Now, ChatGPT is also showing links. There's probably 2 reasons for that. One is they were starting to get a lot of lawsuits because they were using content on the internet to compile the answers. But a lot of that was seen as copyright infringements. So they were starting to get some lawsuits. So they started showing links, probably due to those lawsuits and also just for efficiency to help people. And here's my buddy Spencer Ehrenfeld. That's the first website that I saw getting a link on a search as who's the best car accident attorney in Miami. So again, what are the strategies that we can use to show up in the Google AI searches and the ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity? And we'll talk about some of the other LLMs or large language models. But the first thing I want everybody to know is Google still the big dog here in the game, right? Google and its little brother YouTube have 13.7 billion searches a day. Google has 13.7 billion. YouTube has about 6 billion. That's 19.7 billion searches a day. Now, while ChatGPT's grown like crazy to 1 billion searches, that's still only 5% of the volume of Google and YouTube. So first, we're going to talk about how do you get listed on the Google AI overviews, and then secondly, how do you do ChatGPT and Perplexity? Now, I mentioned before that SEO is still super important, but there's definitely a new term we're using in the industry. Instead of SEO, we're calling it AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. And, it's a similar exercise, right? Where essentially when somebody does a Google search or a ChatGPT search, they're asking a question. Because once in a while, you're going to search your own name to see how you're ranking. But 99 times out of 100, when you do a Google search or in a ChatGPT, you're looking for an answer to something you don't know the answer to. So we're calling it AEO in the industry, or Answer Engine Optimization. So the first strategy to get listed in these AI SEO results is to answer questions. And we've been doing that for the last couple of years with our clients, where here's Jeff McDonald again, and he's answering a question: what happens if I get hit by an Uber or Lyft? And the way we AEO, Answer Engine Optimize, for that question is we put the videos on YouTube and we search engine optimize the videos. So we put the question as the title of the video, right? You think about it like we're targeting a keyword phrase that's in the form of a question. So literally the title of the video is, what happens if I get hit by an Uber or Lyft? And then we use that video on a blog on the website. So now we've got a video blog, which is better than a word only blog. And we search engine optimize the website, again, with the title of the page and the meta tag code titles and things like that are, what happens if I get hit by an Uber or Lyft? And when Jeff records the video, he does something like, one of the questions I'm getting asked all the time now is, what happens if I get hit by an Uber or Lyft? So those question and answer SEOs go on YouTube, go on Google. We also use those videos in the socials, the newsletter, and the Google Maps, which is a very important part of Google SEO. And it works like a charm. Here's another search result. Can you get laid off while on light duty? That links to one of Jeff's answers on his website. The second strategy for getting listed in the AEO is to become an authority. Here's that Google search again. How do I choose a car accident attorney? We've got the AI result right at the top, a couple of SEO results, and then we've got the videos. Now, the interesting thing for me about the videos is you used to see videos in Google search results 4 or 5 years ago. For whatever reason, they stopped putting them in the regular Google results, but now they're back again. So Google is putting a heightened importance on videos as a way to answer questions. Also prominent in so many searches these days is Reddit and Quora and different kind of answer engines. And the interesting thing about Reddit and Quora is the users vote the answers up or down. So this is an answer engine where the general population is rating the answers that you give to questions. So essentially what we're talking about here is question and answer engines, and Reddit and Quora have become a big part of the algorithm in the question and answer engines. I'll explain more in a minute. So one thing you can do is record really good videos with really good answers to questions. My friend Jeff Hampton's done a great job with this, and has 473,000 subscribers and millions of views on his 2 websites. One of them is a criminal website where he talks about 5 tips whenever cops want to see your guns, or how to stop cops from covering your porch camera. And he has criminal, and then he's also owns some rental properties, some Airbnbs, and he's got a rental property attorney practice, and he's got hundreds of thousands of views on that practice area as well. So he does long form answers to his questions. A lot of these videos might be 15 or 20 minutes. So providing very high quality answers on a very high quality YouTube site has made Jeff an authority. Now, this company called Profound put out a study recently about the top sources that these websites are accessing. So ChatGPT is looking at Wikipedia and Reddit. Google AI is looking at Reddit. Remember the question and answer edit with video. Perplexity is looking at Reddit with community generated content, other social media content. So what's the common theme? These answer engines are great places to become an authority for Google, number one. It's the number one source for the Google AI overviews, and also for the other engines, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. So you can go on there and basically want to go on there, be super helpful, don't be salesy, just answer questions like why you might need a car accident attorney, and community questions and different things happening in your marketplace. Same thing on Quora, another big answer engine as well. Another way to become an authority is to be listed in PR. And one of the strategies we've come up with at 10 Golden Rules for our clients is we'll actually write the article, and we pitched this article to the journalist. She pitched it to USA Today. We wrote the article. We listed 4 of our clients as the experts in this article, and we got links to their website from USA Today when they accepted the article. Another great place to be an expert is in your industry types of publications, things like Super Lawyers, the Bar Association, your local Chamber of Commerce or trial lawyers organization. So writing articles for those publications is great. Also, videos is fantastic, and podcasts. If you can get on other people's podcasts, that's a great link for your website. And a number of popular folks in the industry, like Charlie Mann, for example, comes up in the videos. And that's Parker saying hi. By the way, he's going to be making an appearance in this podcast later on. So getting on other people's webinars and podcasts is a great way to get a link. I mentioned we have 1 million YouTube views. Well, our YouTube channel is super popular, right? So it's like the number 3 thing after Charlie's LinkedIn and Instagram. Our video with Charlie is the number 3 thing on his brand. Most people in the industry know Big Dave Thomas from Law Tigers. Great guy. You search Dave Thomas Law Tigers, number 1, you got a paid ad. Number 2, you've got their Law Tigers website, Dave's LinkedIn, and then the third result for his name is a video of him appearing on our podcast. So that's a great way to get a link to your website, to be seen as an authority, and to optimize your AEO, your SEO. And here's one more. This is an amazing source. My buddy Peter Shankman founded a product called Haro, Help a Reporter Out. And that was purchased by Cision, and then it more or less went away. I think someone's rebooting it now. But he has this great list on source of sources. Go to sourceofsources.com. He calls it SOS. And he sends out an email a couple times a day with great opportunities for you to be an expert and get listed in a PR article. Here's one that I got a listing for: AI Lessons, Learns, and Wins. And you can email the journalist back, and there's a deadline. It's good to move very, very quickly when this email comes out. And she's looking for experts on AI strategies. So I shared some of the strategies we're sharing here today. So the first strategy is to answer questions on your website, on your YouTube, on your blog, etc. The next strategy is to become an expert. The third strategy are things you can do on your website to improve your AEO. So on your website, you want to cover topics comprehensively, have detailed explanations and real examples. Bulleted lists work really well. A lot of times the AI answers will refer to a bulleted list from your website. The frequently asked questions. So many people put 3 questions the first time they put up their website. Now you want to go look at the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, and update them on your website. Build local community brands. So local links are super powerful for the AI SEO algorithm. Links like .gov links, very local and powerful links are super valuable. And some advanced strategies for those of you who have already hit on all the basics. You want to publish with a regular cadence and become a known entity. So we publish a podcast every week, a webinar every month, and tons of other content throughout the month. We take clips from these webinars and we put them out as content on our social media. And then we become an expert. So we write for articles like the PILMA, the Professional Lawyers Marketing Mastermind, Management and Marketing Association, I think is the correct title, Ken Hardison's group, and then publishing content on a regular basis. Then proprietary data is another great tactic. So if you can come up with a study like the deadliest roads in Florida, that's a great way to get listed in the AEO. And there's a bunch of advanced code on the website, but the most popular a lot of people are talking about is schema code. And schema code is something that Google and Yahoo and all the search engines got together 8 or 10 years ago and said, our life would be a lot easier if we gave everybody some standards and those standard codes were adhered to by other companies that we could then know they're trying to do some basic things. For example, your location, your maps, your Google reviews, what type of company you are. So they published this standardized code called schema code, and then it's super easy to get listed for the things you want to get listed for if you use the code, and then Google and Yahoo and everyone's not trying to figure it out. So you can find this on Google Search Central, things like FAQ pages. There's a schema. So the code on the back end of the website is going to tell them, these are FAQs, these are question and answer pages, these are article pages, these are blogs. A lot of times you see a blog and there's a simplified version of the blog and it doesn't have pictures and stuff like that. That's a type of schema that makes it easier for you to read and easier for the search engine to read the blog. So schema code is an advanced strategy. And then what are the things that differentiate some of the other answer engines? So again, back to this Profound study, and they said that on Google AI overviews, when you're doing your AEO, these are the things that they're using in their results. So number 1 and number 2 are Reddit and YouTube, and followed quickly by Quora and LinkedIn. So they're seeing those websites as authority websites. I mentioned before, Reddit and Quora are question and answer websites where the users vote you up or vote you down. So if you can answer questions and get voted up, you're going to appear in Reddit. And then when Google is running an AEO query, they look to the experts who got their questions rated up in these answer engines and the folks who created YouTube videos answering those questions. So simple tip, use clear question and answer formatting with headlines like what is or how do I, those question and answers that we did on video. And you also want to write concise answers, the top 30 to 50 words near the top of the page to align with a response style. So a question and answer right at the top of the page. Next thing, mid-level strategy, build topic clusters. So you're going to create pillar content. Again, these are the advanced tips that have deeper supporting pages covering subtopics. So you might write a page about motorcycle accidents, and then you might create a section with 10 different areas of motorcycle accident. What to do after a motorcycle accident, how to prevent a motorcycle accident, what some case studies on your motorcycle accident cases, what are the litigation implications of motorcycle accidents. And so you're going to have that kind of content on your website. And then a final advanced strategy for getting listed on the AI overviews is something Google's called the EEAT signals. the expertise, authority, trustworthiness. So things like author bios, citations of authoritative sources, client case evidence to boost credibility, and again, Reddit, YouTube, and Quora content. Got a couple questions here. Let's see. From Scott, hub and spoke with schema citations that show what you're all about. Jay, you're 100% right. Thank you, sir. Next up, ChatGPT. So we see ChatGPT is heavily weighted on Wikipedia. So they're using Wikipedia to compile their answers. And basically, what this study's done is they've gone out and they've said, what causes a website to show up in ChatGPT results? So getting on Wikipedia is great. Unfortunately, getting on Wikipedia is hard, right? It's not easy to get on Wikipedia. But if you are an expert and you have been cited in 10 or 15 significant media outlets, then you can get a Wikipedia page and you can get featured on Wikipedia and you can answer things on Wikipedia and become a Wikipedia expert. So if you're a prominent law firm, if you're like a Morgan & Morgan, a Ben Crump, even the big dog in your state, Wikipedia is a relatively easy strategy. But you could get featured on Wikipedia Answers if you contribute really great content. So that's a pretty good strategy to build on for ChatGPT. Some of the other things for GPT, again, high quality, relevant content that answers common questions. They like content recognized for reliability. So that's part of that, people voting you up in Reddit and Quora and other websites linking to your content. Amplify your brand messages, legal directories, press articles. ChatGPT likes those brand signals. And an advanced play, AEO conversational Q&A formatted content that we talked about, ideally, if you can get a Wikipedia page. And then the last one we're going to look at in detail is Perplexity, another pretty big search engine, heavily favored for Reddit. Number 2 is YouTube. So again, Reddit and YouTube coming up across the board here. So the AI SEO secrets, first, answer engine optimization. Number 1, you're going to answer questions. You're going to answer questions on YouTube, on your FAQ pages, on your website, on your blog. Number 2, build authority. Get listed in those industry articles out there. And number 3, on your website, we shared a number of advanced strategies, things like schema code, and then getting out there in the Reddits and the Quoras. All right, next section, how to use ChatGPT and my favorite advanced AI prompts. This is a great reference. I highly recommend the book by Jeff Woods. But if you're not a big book reader, here's the best thing that Jeff gets quoted for everywhere. And when I saw Jeff present, he said, get out a yellow sticky and write this down. And I followed his advice. And right here is my yellow sticky. And so I'm going to take you through his strategy for doing great prompts on ChatGPT. And this works in Google as well and the other engines. And basically, if you ask a really good question, you get a really good answer. And that's true in life, but it's even more so true in the large language models like ChatGPT and Google's AI. So what he said to write down is CRIT, or the CRIT framework. And the C stands for context. Provide detailed background information when you're doing a query in ChatGPT. So if you're preparing for a board meeting, share the agenda, share your key concerns, share your objectives, give it some meat to give you a better answer. The R is role. So you're writing down CRIT, context, role. Assign a specific role for the AI. For example, instruct it to act as a seasoned CFO or a skeptical board member. The I stands for interview. Encourage the AI to ask you a few questions. We'll show you how this works in a minute. And then T is the task. Clearly define what you want the AI to accomplish. Do you want a financial analysis? Do you want simulated questions that the stakeholders might ask or your shareholders might ask before the board meeting? So this is what you're going to write down on your little sticky. If you haven't done it already, grab a quick screenshot of this and write it down. It's been super valuable for me, and it's taken my ChatGPT game from beginner to advanced. So here's an example, and I've probably done hundreds of these by now. So I was asked to submit an article for great legal marketing. So I said the context, I've been asked to submit an article and I even a typo there, for a top lawyer publication, you'll draft this article from the attached transcription. So I attached a transcription of my video about YouTube and video marketing. The role. You're one of the world's top business writers, so I'm assigning ChatGPT a role. You'll write in the educational style of Jay Berkowitz. Often I'll link to my website, my blog, but it knows me now. So if you have a paid ChatGPT, it gets to know you. And you're going to explain the marketing and business concepts as an easy to understand manner for lawyers and business people. Interview. Ask me 3 questions to clarify the task one at a time. And these are, you'll see why in a minute. The interview questions work great. And your task is to write an 800 to 1,000 word article for GLM Monthly Magazine. The article, social media for lawyers and YouTube. You'll draft this article from the transcription of my recent webinar about YouTube and video marketing. Please include a short bio about 10 golden rules and a short bio about Jay Berkowitz, and include that Jay will be presenting at the annual Great Legal Marketing Conference. So it says, great, thanks for sharing the transcription. Before I draft the article, here's my first clarification question. Do you want the article written directly in your voice, as if Jay Berkowitz authored it for the magazine, or should it be written as a profile or feature piece? So I wrote it in my voice because I'm going to be listed as the author. Here's my second clarification question. Would you like the article to stay tightly focused on YouTube as the hot social media, or briefly mention other platforms? You can mention that video is the best way to stand out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other social networks. So it clarifies, I give it some feedback, and then we let it rip. And here's the article. And this is amazing because I've used this strategy multiple times now. And writing an article like this would have taken me 3 or 4 hours or 2 or 3 hours in the past. I got this done in about 10 minutes by downloading the transcription of my own video. So it is my own content. I give it that content. It writes the article. It comes out in my voice and my style, but it just does a great job of compiling about 20 minutes of video content into about 800 words. And the article runs in the magazine. Now, the next one is my favorite new AI toy. And this is called Nano Banana. You've probably been hearing about it. It's got a ton of buzz. Over the last couple of years, we've had some AI image creation products, but most of the time when they did it, the person would have 6 fingers or 3 eyes and things like that. But Nano Banana's got it nailed. I mean, it's amazing. And you can create all kinds of images like this just by giving it some good direction. So you find it just by searching anywhere in Google for Nano Banana. And one of the cool new things is that when I open a Google Slides document, like when I'm creating the slides for a presentation like this, they actually suggest like, hey, we've got some great tools. Like we can do the slides for you. We can help you with images. We can create infographics, create templates. So now they've built a whole bunch of AI right into the Google Slides product. So when I open this presentation to do this for you all, Nano Banana was right there by my side. If you click on, you go back here, I clicked on the images and it just puts it nicely here on the side. Create a friendly white robot in a high-tech office working on virtual monitors. And this is where I got some of the images, most of the images that we used in this presentation of the robots. And this is my favorite one overall. You guys met Parker earlier, and he's barking to get up in the window because Parker has designated himself as the sheriff of ADS, which is the Amazon Defense Services. And his job is to bark and protect our house anytime Amazon or UPS or USPS comes to our home. I asked it to create a graphic of a friendly Bichon Frise who's a sheriff, and he's the head of ADS, Amazon Defense Services. Now you know why that's my favorite graphic. All right, so we've covered the traffic, the marketing, the prompts. Next up is intake and conversion. Because if we do our job and the AI SEO, you guys become experts and answer questions on Reddit, and you start getting a bunch of the AI traffic, and a bunch of folks want to sign up with your firm, the next most important thing is your intake's got to work really, really well at a high level. So we've created a proprietary product of 10 Golden Rules. We still don't have a good name for it. We're calling it JI, like JAI, because I came up with this idea, but my team built the code. And so what it is, it's an artificial intelligence intake coach. So we record all the calls. We use CallRail or a different call tracking service like What Converts or something like that. But CallRail is the big gorilla. Most of you are probably recording all your calls, and it does recording and tracking. And also the Google LSAs does tracking as well. And so we have CallRail in place on most of these sites. So we see these great artificial intelligence coaches that we've created. So what we do is we listen to the calls. The AI is trained to listen to the calls. Obviously, you've got to have you've got to have a paid and secure product because you've got to make sure for HIPAA violations. So we've done that. And we listen to all our clients' calls and then we give them coaching. So now the tool is built out so we can give the team coaching. We can tell them what they're doing right, tell them what they could do better, tell them how to convert more of the leads, and we can do individual coaching for the individual chat agents. So here's an example of an overall program. The overall strengths observed, the politeness, 9 out of 10 calls, the receptionist was respectful and friendly. The callers were addressed by name. The tone was warm. They collected basic information. There was a consistent structure, and they attempted to schedule appointments. The key areas for improvement. So this group had no sales mindset or weak emotional engagement. None of the calls exhibited urgency or empathy or persuasion. Callers were allowed to end the call without being retained. And the fix is to train the agents to use empathy anchors and affirm client pain. And we've used this AI to do the coaching. And then we've also brought in some of the world's best coaching experts, folks like Chris Mullins and Brooke Burke and people like that. Now, also no closing language, no retainer sent. So in some instances, no effort to sign the case on the call. Implement live close tactics, walk the client through a texted or emailed retainer on the call. I'm sending you a text with our retainer. Let's review it together now so we can get started helping you today. They didn't educate or create trust. Use authority statements. We help hundreds of accident victims each year. Here's what we'll do for you. I mean, this is great content. And by the way, we created this content with our experts. So we used 5 of the world's leading intake experts, and we've created one virtual GPT with all of their expertise. And no structured triage. Intake agents did consistently ask about key qualifying details, injury severity, treatment, report, and fault, and implement a standardized script. It was the fix. So this is an amazing product that we've built now. It's become very robust. We've got the quick fixes and the benefits and all kinds of different tools in this product. So the Intake AI is an amazing product. Another thing that a lot of firms are exploring, and we've just started testing for a couple of our clients, is actually answering the phone with AI. So Eve Legal has a new product they've just launched as a part of the Eve AI platform. Smith AI is a more traditional call center, but they've launched an AI product. And Meet Gabby is a brand new product that we're going to meet Gabby in the next couple of weeks because they're going to be coming up on our podcast and we're going to learn a lot more about them. Another product we have is called TGR Boomerang. And we built this product to capture missed leads. So what the AI does is every time you get a call and you don't pick up the phone, so it's a missed call, and every firm has missed calls because a lot of people hear the recording. This call is being recorded by Google for quality assurance. About 5 to 10% of the people hang up. So our AI called TGR Boomerang, and it's called Boomerang. It's like, I've got my boomerang here. It's like the Australian toy that I throw it out and it comes back to me. So we want these leads to come back to us and come back to your intake department. So when someone hangs up, our AI grabs the name and the phone number. Google gives us about 90% of the names and phone numbers, and we immediately text it to your intake team. So they can immediately just click the number and call this person back. Hey, I'm really sorry we missed your call. I'd love to help you with your case. Please tell me what happened. And the other thing the Boomerang does, when people fill out a form on your website, a lot of times folks don't call those people back until they check their email. So again, we grab the information, name, phone number, and we immediately text it to the intake team because those forms, your lead quality degrades in about 5 minutes. A lot of people will fill out a form on your website. They'll fill out a form on someone else's website. And then they do a chat with the third website they go to, and those folks send them a retainer and sign them up. They're not going to answer the phone if you call them back more than 5 minutes later. So TGR Boomerang is a great intake product. The next section is about AI for law firm operations. What AI can you actually use in case management? And these are a number of the top products these guys are bubbling to the top. We're seeing them at the conferences, but there's dozens more folks who are doing a great job out there. Eve just became a unicorn. Their newest fundraise got them over $1 billion valuation. And just to be confusing, two companies that do almost the same thing. They do a lot of back end work for legal cases and PI. Eve and Even Up have very similar names, but these are very different companies, I promise you. They're competitors at the conferences and whatnot. Filevine has built a product called Demands AI, primarily building demand letters. Supio has a great product, and you guys have probably met Ed on our webinars and our podcasts, and he tells a great story how attorneys were using Supio for a case, and they actually took it to court with them. And after the person was deposed on the stand, I guess they had audio transcriptions going into Supio, or they provide that information into Supio. And Supio found inconsistencies in the testimonial that were worth $500,000 in that case. So you can literally bring these AIs to court with you. Another great one is faster outcomes. My friend Rob Levine and my buddy Tim. Rob Levine's an attorney who's an investor, and he's giving a lot of product knowledge to faster outcomes. Again, you can hear these guys on our podcast as well. And then some of the big dogs in the legal space, like Thomson Reuters and Westlaw, have legal products. So, if you're using Thomson Reuters, or if you're using Westlaw for a lot of your legal case information, like literally the old legal books are now digital legal products, then you can use these products to help you manage your cases and do the AI. So what do some of these products do? Well, they do legal research and document analysis. They do contract review and drafting. Essentially, you're going to read all the information, every police report, every medical report, every medical chronology, all the information in the case is going to go into your case management software. The obvious one is like Filevine is your case management software. And then you can use Demands AI to write your demand letters. So this streamlines workflows, provides research within the firm data and information, practice and case management, litigation support, medical chronologies, demand letter writing. So these tools all do some of these things, and some of them are like Demands AI is more focused on demands. Eve, Even Up, Supio, Faster Outcomes are really great with PI, but they work in some other practice areas. And then these guys are more for the traditional law, where you've got that all that case data in your Thomson product or your Westlaw product. Next up is what we call the AI case status communications. And I love this area because we want our firms to provide 5-star concierge service. And I want that selfishly. And obviously, I want that for my clients because we love you guys. We want you to win. So I want you to sign up with one of these products, because the number one bar complaint is that my lawyer doesn't get back to me. And unfortunately, I had a couple rear ends. I got rear-ended 2 times, about 5 years apart. But the last one, I was pretty frustrated because I was trying to get information. I had some neck issues and some herniated discs, and I had an MRI. And I kept, wanting to know, like, did the lawyer get the MRI from the clinic? Did they get it over to the neck surgeon? Do I have to see the neck surgeon again? What's the next steps in this case? What's up with the insurance company? So, as a client, you want to know the status of your case. And the number one bar complaint is that my lawyer doesn't get back to me. I don't know the status of my complaint. So, when you get one of these products, like Case Status or Hona, and they both have AI that does a lot of predictive kind of stuff, and it does a lot of work for you on the client communications piece. So think of both of these guys have apps. And so when you order from Uber Eats now, you get a text immediately. Hey, we got your order. Then the app starts taking over. And it's like, hey, your order's being prepared. Then it's like the drivers arrived at the location at the restaurant. And you get another text. Hey, I'm just waiting for them to box up the food. Then you get a text. The driver's on his way. He should be there between 11:43 and 12:15. Then you get another text, I've arrived. So think of it like that kind of information that we all as consumers now expect from our business partners, right? These tools now will proactively send information out to your client. Hey, we got the MRI. We're sending it over to the surgeon. Okay, the surgeon's confirmed. He's got the MRI. We'll have an answer for you in the next day or two. Hey, you're going to have to see the surgeon again. Here's some appointment times. Can you book one of these appointments? Okay, great. You're seeing the surgeon next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Then you get a reminder. Here's the address of the surgeon, and your appointment's Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and you get a text an hour before, right, with the address. So these apps make it super easy for you to keep the clients happy. And the best thing, like Ona has it right here on their page, is now the lawyers quit drowning in their phone calls. So you're proactively sending information out. The role the AI plays is if a client asks a question, the AI will actually write the answer for you. They'll draft an answer, and the paralegal can either press send and send it back to the customer, or he or she could send it to the lawyer because they want them to comment, or they could write their own reply, custom reply, and send it back. So the AI is playing an active role with these products, keeping your customers happy, keeping them updated on the case, and all importantly, getting us those 5-star Google reviews and significantly increasing your referrals. Because a lot of people don't think about it this way. If you don't give 5-star service, why do you expect to get a 5-star Google review? If you don't keep your customer happy and informed and updated on their case, there's a much higher likelihood they're not going to do a review, or they're not going to give you the 5 stars on the Google review. So why not run these cases with products like this? And also, I encourage everybody to have a 5-star concierge approach. Matter of fact, I called a business, I think it was a bank, and the gentleman introduced himself. Hi, I'm Alan. I'm your concierge. How can I help you today? And so the bank had that 5-star concierge mindset. If you've ever been to a 5-star hotel, you want to have that concierge style service. All right, let's cover some more fun AIs. I love this stuff. So here's one of my favorites. It's called Hey Jen. One of our clients didn't love being on video. And we talked about how powerful these videos have been for the AI SEO and just the overall SEO. And then we also use those videos in social media, on the Google Maps, etc. So we still wanted to do the videos, but this gentleman wasn't comfortable being on camera. So we wrote the questions, we wrote the answers. We probably used some AI to help us write the first draft of those answers. Client approved the questions and answers. He did a video with HeyGen to authorize the use of his likeness for this. And now we've got some great videos. He looks super authentic. It might not be 100 out of 100, but it's like 97 out of 100. And we filmed him sitting in the office like this. And then the AI takes over and it actually produces an amazing video in his voice. And he's actually British. It's got his accent. Now, this one blows my mind. And if we can get it to play, this will be cool. Javier Milei is the president of Argentina. And he spoke at Davos at the World Economic Forum last year. And he did this amazing presentation. Well, he blew up to world prominence because so many people saw the translation in his voice, in his accent, with his tonality, but it was translated to multiple languages. So let's see if we can watch Javier Milei.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Today, I am present to inform you that the Western world is facing a significant threat. It is in danger because those who are supposed to defend the values of the Western world are co-opted by a worldview that inevitably leads to socialism and consequently to poverty and economic deprivation.
So here's the amazing thing. Milei gave this talk in Spanish, and it's translated perfectly, and it sounds like him. It's his accent, his intonations, and he even redid his lips, so it looks like he's speaking the words. What an amazing tool. Hey, Jen, check it out. We also use it to translate to other languages. We'll do Spanish, Portuguese, Polish, depending on the marketplace. All right, another tool. Again, I love some of these tools. We're using so many AIs that have changed our life significantly. So we met with this firm, great people, Doug and Melissa Landau. Hey guys, if you're watching, thank you so much. And this was our final meeting. They need a marketing program. They need a cascading content strategy where they record the question and answers. And they were going to give us an answer by Monday. And thankfully they did. We actually shot videos last week and they've started working with 10 golden rules. So the beauty of Fathom is it records the whole meeting, all the videos there, and then any of these action items, if you click on it, it takes you to that part of the conversation. So our whole team doesn't need to sit in the meeting. They can see and learn. So when we do the kickoff meeting with our team, we can teach them what the client said because we've got it recorded, we've got it transcribed by the AI, and the key takeaways and the next steps are all here in the AI. So I highly recommend fathom.video. Another great one, Opus Pro. We uploaded my presentation that I gave at Great Legal Marketing, and it created social media style clips with the headers and the captions and everything. These tools are amazing now. They don't come out perfect, but you might start it a little later, end it a little earlier. You might tweak the captions, but these things are amazing because the editing time goes from hundreds of dollars worth of editing time to 15 or 20 minutes to get full 5 clips out of a presentation to use in social media. Here's another one, depositions.com. People pay a ton of money for court reporters and transcriptions. Now you can do it all with the AI on depositions.com. Another great tool, grammarly.com. So many of us have team members that English is not their first language. I mean, even one of our rock stars on our team grew up in Europe and then moved to Boca Raton. And she uses Grammarly all the time just to make sure her context is correct, make sure the grammar is correct, because she's super duper smart. But again, English is not her first language. So you can just drop stuff in there and get conversion and your communication will be correct. And I love this one. My friend Justin Lovely spoke at our TGR Live conference the last 2 years, and he tells the story of PimEyes. And this is a tool that you can upload pictures into PimEyes. Now, this is not his case study. I replicated this with a buddy of mine, but he had a case where his client was injured very severely in a car accident. And they were pretty confident that the woman who hit their client had been drinking. But all of her social media was pulled down and she basically disappeared from the internet before they got a chance to track her down. But they did have 2 pictures. They had her mugshot and they had her driver's license photo. And he uploaded it into PimEyes, and then they found a whole bunch of pictures of her that were posted by her friends at the bar that she was at before they hit her client. And they went and deposed the bartender, and the case went from like $30,000 to $1 million and was worth $300,000 for him and his law firm. And by the way, this guy is not a criminal. He's a real character. He's my buddy Mo Aldiri. Mo, thank you for volunteering to be in my presentation. All right, so that gets us to the end of the formal portion of this. The first thing we delved into was AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. All the things you can do to come up in the Google AI search. And we also looked at the strategies for ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. I talked about our AI intake coaching product. So we've developed a custom AI bot that we used 5 of the world's leading intake coach experts to build our knowledge base. And we now are able to coach our clients. If you all are interested in that product, be happy to talk to you about how we can help coach your intake team. And we've seen intake improve 30-40% with intake coaching. Our other product we built is Boomerang, like the Australian toy. You throw it out and it comes back to you. So when you miss phone calls or people fill out a form on your website, Boomerang will immediately text your intake team. There's 5 or 10% of those leads that are slipping through the cracks. If you miss phone calls and if you don't call people back right away when they fill out forms on your website. We talked about some of the different AI tools that law firms are using for operations, things like Eve and Even Up and Demands AI, Supio, and Faster Outcomes. And then the case status products, Case Status and ONA, super important. I beg all of you, in particular my clients, I want you to run a 5-star operation. And there's a simple app now, like ordering Uber Eats, where your clients can get updates on every step of their case. And it's going to cut the phone calls to your paralegals down in about half. It's going to make your life easier, make their life better, and it's going to rapidly increase those 5-star Google reviews. Because even if you do great legal work, but you don't keep your client informed, and in fact, you frustrate them by not answering their phone calls all the time, you can now get 5-star ratings and 5-star concierge and 5-star Google reviews. The next sort of summary item is other AIs. So we talked about some of my favorites. Fathom is a great for recording all of our meetings. We get a summary of the notes and next steps, and we can play those videos for our team when we want to debrief them on what the client said. Other things like HeyGen is the one that did the translation for Javier Milei. And for a couple of our clients who don't like shooting video, we just put a script into HeyGen. We shoot video with the client once and it replicates those videos. You can also transfer those videos into other languages. We also talked about things like depositions.com and PimEyes, which finds people with their picture, it finds the other social media. A couple of things for me. If you think this content would be valuable for one of your organizations, I'd love to speak at the state bar associations or the trial lawyers associations or any of the legal conferences. So I'd love you for speaking recommendations if you're on the committee of your bar association, or even if you can just refer me to the bar association. I really appreciate it. And of course, 10 golden rules. What we do is we do internet marketing for law firms. So I'm happy to do an audit of your website and look for some of these opportunities. And we'll discuss how we can improve your overall performance with all the different strategies and tools we talked about today. And then I'll happy to take some questions. I'm going to throw the link up again. You can scan this or you can just go to 10goldenrules.com/hot trends. And we've got the AI strategies in there. We've also got some of the newest strategies for LSAs and Google Maps and some of the other hottest trends that we're covering these days for our clients. So with that, I'll be happy to take some questions. Google can identify AI content. How do you make it sound real? Well, that's a great question. So times are changing. There clearly was a day when Google is identifying AI content. I think the simple answer to that is you don't want to just like do a ChatGPT and say, give me a blog about what to do after a car accident. I would use it more as a guide. A really good tool for ChatGPT is to say, give me the top 4 bullets on what to do after a car accident and some of the things that I should explain to my clients. Then use those bullets to record a video. Speak it and answer the question in your authentic voice. Then transcribe the video and write a blog off the video. And put the video on your blog with an explanation that you're going to rewrite from the transcription. So you're going to use AI as a tool, but not use like a ChatGPT answer, because the other thing about ChatGPT is I've asked it the same question, not recently, but when it first came out, like what to do after a car accident? What are the top 10 ways to pick an attorney? What are the top 7 things people should look at when selecting a car accident lawyer? And you get a relatively generic set of answers. So that's where I think your problem is. It's not that Google's necessarily identifying AI and penalizing you for it. It's the fact that you're not giving it authentic answers with your own take, with a local flavor. So I'd use it as a guide, and then I'd write the content or speak the content into a video and then use that video as the starter for your AI package. Great webinar, Jay. Thank you so much. Question from Dylan on LinkedIn. For attorneys who are hesitant, what's the safest first step using AI in case management without compromising accuracy or ethics? I think everybody by now has heard the story of the attorneys who've gotten suspended or disbarred for using ChatGPT on their cases. 2 big problems. Number one, it's not HIPAA compliant. To use the free ChatGPT and put your case information in there is a definite violation. And then the second thing is ChatGPT can and will hallucinate. That's an AI term for making up cases. So the prominent New York attorney who got in trouble for using ChatGPT is he cited 2 cases about like some Korean Air accident where his client was hit by a beverage cart and got injured. And he cited case law for international travel, and both of those cases didn't exist. So opposing counsel and the judge couldn't find the cases he was referencing. And it turns out ChatGPT made it up. So you want to use one of the tools we talked about today that are legit legal tools. And if you're using ChatGPT for anything or any of these tools, you want to make sure you're using a paid and secure product that's HIPAA compliant. And then the second thing I would suggest is some of the folks we talked about, like Supio, and I know Faster Outcomes for sure, will do a free trial. So it's a great way you can get 30 or 60 days to try it out and see if it works for you. I always say with new products and AI stuff we're testing, and even working with a partner company, I use this term called crawl, walk, run. So you want to go slowly when you first start out, just do baby steps. We're going to volunteer our time for the Legal Aid Society. So we just met with them this morning, and I used that term, crawl, walk, run. So first thing, we're going to get them Google grants. Second thing, we're going to shoot some video. Third thing, we're going to help them with their email performance. So crawl, walk, run. We're just going to start out with something like Google grants where they get $10,000 in free clicks. Second thing, we're going to do video. So same thing with the AIs, just do the free trial, Faster Outcomes, or one of the other products, see if it's a fit for you guys. And then if it's working, then, buy the product and roll it out. Thank you for that, Dylan. Question from Greg on Facebook. Do you think AI will replace traditional SEO, or will it simply layer on top as a new visibility channel? I think my answer from earlier stands, that the AI product we see today is highly influenced by traditional SEO. And what is traditional SEO? It's called search engine optimization, right? So we're optimizing our website and our digital properties for the highest likelihood to come up in SEO. So AI is not really any different, right? Like search engine optimization is not really about the tactics we use for search engine optimization. Search engine optimization means we're going to optimize our likelihood to come up in results. The tactics, the strategies change over time. So I would say that optimizing your website and your properties to come up in free traffic results is not going to change, but the tactics are going to change. So video, super important these days. Becoming an expert, super important. Answering questions on the question engines, answering questions on YouTube is super important. So search engine optimization is more like a theory about how am I going to get listed. The old search engine optimization strategies and tactics, the ones from 10 years ago, don't work today anyways. So you're always going to have to employ new strategies and tactics. So I guess that's my answer. All right, well, I think that's the questions, and we're pretty close to time here. So unless anybody has any really important last minute questions, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Congratulations for being the 2X and 3X and 10X folks. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, do me a favor, please give us a YouTube subscribe, subscribe to the channel, click like on this video, and give me a comment, give me a question on the YouTube, and I'll be happy to answer it some point in the future. So thank you all very much. Those of you watching live, happy holidays. Those of you in the future, back to the future, and please reach out to me at 10 Golden Rules and let us know what you thought of this video.
Thank you for listening to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. Please send questions and comments to podcast@10goldenrules.com. That is podcast@tengoldenrules.com.